that when the money does finally come, and it will, but this got to be not used on new programs or new spending with strings attached everywhere. It needs to go into benefiting the residents who have supported this casino for 4 years. That's all I'm saying. I think we're agreeing, but I think don't compromise the value of those dollars just to get them.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying.
And what you said is just what you've said here tonight. But is been the crux of the holdup since before it even got turned on, before they voted on it. It didn't spell it out in the legislation. When it got spelled out the first year, it was a committee of X number of people will decide how it'll spend. And then for the next 13, it wasn't spelled out. So that's all. We're not talking about different things, but It wasn't spelled out.
It was not spelled out.
And if it was, you're saying, hey, that would have been easier to live up to.
If you had everything, who was the beneficiary and where. I mean, it's okay. I think it's good to give the hospitals money and to improve infrastructure. They all have to be done. But you know what? You can grow a community and benefit the residents who've been paying the bill for so long by cutting their taxes. And you know what? It works. I mean, we've proven it in Wheatfield. It will work.
Let's go to line 3 here. Line 3, how are you doing? Terry? Terry!
Hey, how you doing?
I've got your town supervisor.
I know. Even though he shouldn't even be running for lieutenant governor, because he should run for president.
Well, steps. That's next. You got to become a governor first.
No, he doesn't have to become. He's a very smart man.
Well, Terry, hold on. Let's ask him. The 2008 presidential primaries coming up. Have you rejected the notion of entering the primary caucuses in Iowa or New Hampshire?
Let me put it to you this way.
He won't answer, Terry.
No, I am not running for president, but I'll tell you. But I see Michael Bloomberg might be the city of Niagara Falls, the city of New York mayor. But since I liked the political adventure. I like the involvement, but I think more importantly is when I'm done with a meeting, or when we accomplish something, or we write a budget and it reduces taxes, or we provide a new service, like Dan was mentioning, the new gymnasium system and the youth center. When you see the actual physical plans, the things that are out there, and you see the tax bills go down, and I've asked people in every election, pull out your tax bill from 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and look at today's or last year's or the year before, and you'll see that tax bill go down. That's an accomplishment. And that's what we set out to do. And I think I really feel satisfied knowing that we've been able to accomplish that as a team, as a community, working together. And I think Niagara Falls can accomplish that too. Do I think these same policies will work at the state level? Absolutely. But I also know that running for lieutenant governor gives me an opportunity to be able to meet people, like you said earlier, to introduce our ideas, to showcase Wheatfield as a model community for how things can work and do work at a state level, and gives me an opportunity to work with the next governor, I hope, to say, hey, don't forget the little towns and the cities who are hurting for, like Niagara Falls, for their money. You don't make them wait. Put together programs that are going to give results, not just lip service, and don't just talk about the problems, fix them. So I'm hoping, and I know the governor is the boss, and a lieutenant governor who runs as a team, and it is a team effort. I'm running for the Republican nomination among the state convention delegates, just like you would at a national convention. So we're pursuing the delegates right now, and we're having a great time with it. But the important thing is, do we better the citizens that we try to represent by moving up? Is it just moving up for political sake, for the person doing it, or is it going to benefit the community from which you come and the state that you want to represent? And I'm hoping to be able to benefit the people where I came from. I believe in the mission. We are sticking to the mission in Wheatfield, and I think it'll work for New York.
And exactly, you're an advocate or an ambassador for Wheatfield. When you're out there, if it doesn't go the Republicans' way in November, you've made 200 to 500 contacts of people who might own businesses, who might be looking to come this way. If Oz happens when you announce that, you're making these contacts to bring back home.
Correct.
And you might move somebody from Gloversville to here.
Right.
It can't be a lose situation.
It's a win-win for the town. It's a win-win for the political system. I think we get our message out there. People can learn that, yes, these things can work. Our formulas, our plans, our tax relief programs do work and can work for them, and gives us an opportunity to let the state, as Chris said earlier on the phone, it lets us tell the state, here's what you should be doing and here's how you should be doing it. Again, we don't have all the answers, but we want our voice heard. We want it heard in Albany, and we want it heard from the people, not just from a local government.
Terry, go ahead.
Okay, Now, my problem is we don't want to lose Tim as our town supervisor.
His wife will take over.
Huh?
No, I'm kidding.
Well, Tammy can take over as long as it's not that slime bucket on the town board. I
love local politics. I just love local politics. Go ahead, Terry. Slime bucket, is that how it's registered? You know, like you do lawn signs, so it's that your name in the ballot is slime bucket with one M, two M's.
He knows who
I don't want to know who you are. Go ahead.
Well,
Art Palmer.
Ah! Don't say that.
Well, the town board and I have worked together on a lot of important projects. One would be the Greenway Commission. We've put together a lot of new initiatives. And I think what Terry's referring to is I've disagreed with Councilman Palmer and Councilman Hellwig and Councilman Doucette. I've disagreed with.
You get out the phone book and that's who you disagree with.
Yeah, right. I mean, we have our good days, our bad days. But the important thing is that they have been supportive of all my programs most of the time. And I think it's led to our success.
Yeah. Terry, go ahead.
Gil Doucette, I have no problem with him and his wife come into my store all the time, and
they leave their sneakers in the parking lot, though.
No,
they
you
do.
Said that about Kenny Hamilton. But anyway, another problem I have is that if you do get elected lieutenant governor, who do you want to work with? Because Spitzer is dead in this area. You know that.
Well, yeah, that's
is Spitzer dead in this area?
Well, let me tell you, and that's a good point. I think that Terry brings up two things that people may misunderstand a lot, and they do misunderstand. Matter of fact, I was on a radio show last week, and the radio host said, "We did not know that in New York you can elect a governor and a lieutenant governor separately." I said, "You can't. You can't." See, a lot of people misunderstand. The reason we're able to make the headway that I think we're making at the state level is because the people who are going to make the decision outside of Republican primary in September are the convention delegates. And you have to have a certain number of votes of the delegates. Now, the weighted vote for nomination to be a lieutenant governor candidate in the Republican Party is 1,043,000 weighted votes. There are a number of Republicans that have to support you, represented by their state delegates at the convention. If you get 2.7 million weighted delegates, you are the only nominee, and there's no primary unless the Republican candidate who wants to run for lieutenant governor circulates petitions statewide and runs in a primary against the nominee. The same thing holds true for the governor. But ultimately what happens is at the convention, it's going to be the 29th or 30th of May in Long Island. And when the convention occurs, there's going to be a clear nominee for governor picked by the delegates, we're hoping. And that nominee will say, yes, Tim Demler or this person or that person, these two or three Republicans who are running for lieutenant governor have enough weighted votes. This one has the most, so we're going to choose him. Or the delegates are going to choose him. Or the gubernatorial candidate will say, look, to Tim Demler and you, if you pool your delegates together, I would like to have this person run because we work well together and he or she does this or does that. So there's a lot of this sort of thing that goes on at the convention. And I think the key is, like you said, we need a team in the Republican Party. And again, I'm not saying that every Republican policy in the last couple of years, especially at the national level, has been perfect. But I have one that believes that you don't leave your party, you straighten and fix the party. So I'm planning on staying to fix the party and to remind everybody that our party does stand for tax relief and the business programs that we put in place. What I think we need to do is emerge from that convention in May with a solid team to take on the Democratic solid team that's almost in place right now, and compare our messages. Can we afford to go back to the days of Mario Cuomo? I mean, you say the name Mario Cuomo, and it makes some, the hair on people's necks stand up because of what he put us in the state. And I'm just making that as a point. And then you have Elliot Spitzer saying that we're the Appalachia of the area. I mean, and that
was that kind of like an Ed Koch statement where he said it killed Ed Koch in '82.
It absolutely
They're all
did.
wearing gingham dresses and eating it. I forget what the comment was.
They were going to Sears and Roebuck
Sears
for
and
suits.
Roebuck
right.
for suits. Yeah, it was it killed him.
Yeah, I mean that was that. I mean, I think it was an off the cuff. I think his intent was not that, but that was not. But the problem is, you make these kind of statements, then you have his running mate, Dave Patterson, who's running with Eliot Spitzer, doing the shoot to harm bill. He pulled it out. He's a state senator, who is going to submit a bill that would criminally charge police officers for shooting people who are committing crimes, unless they were only shooting to harm.
Yeah.
Now, what
That was a real sticking point to law enforcement.
Absolutely. When that officer in law is out there and he's got to make a decision, he's not going to have to, if somebody's life's in danger, there's a burglary, a robbery, or potential murder going on, or a rape, he's not going to sit there and try. I'm sure they would try to aim to harm, to arrest.
They almost never shoot. They get in so much trouble if they pull the trigger.
But when they do shoot, they shoot for the right reasons, and they do it to save lives. And to have a bill submitted that would actually charge a police officer with a commission of a crime while he's trying to execute his duty as a police officer to protect lives is ludicrous. And this is what the Democratic ticket's doing at the state level.
That could increase shootings. Because now if I can just shoot you in the knee because it says I can, why not?
Exactly.
Again, it's very rare you even see a gun fired.
The bottom line is that we need to stick to the message. We know how, I think with the right circumstances, the Republican team could be successful. We just need to make sure we're careful, we pick the right team, and we stick to the message. And I'm going to the state convention, hopefully armed with a lot of delegates, and we're going to have a team message come out of that convention. And the team message is going to be, we need to reduce taxes statewide. We need to make New York more competitive, and we need to stop the burdensome regulations that's strangling our business and our communities to death. We need to improve the situation so we're not just competitive from state to state, but we're competitive in the world market. And that's what we need to do. And talk is cheap. We can talk about this all night long. But if we don't come up with workable solutions to fix the problems, we're never going to get better. I'm yet to hear a workable solution come out of the Democratic Party this year. Eliot Spitzer's a great guy. He's a great guy. But the truth of the matter is, where's the solutions?
Yeah. Terry,
I got
one more.
4 things. Just that, what do you think about the treaty with New York State and the Indians and what they're trying to do again to the Indians? And if you do run, Tim, you make sure you let me know when you're having your fundraiser, even though I don't want you to leave as supervisor. But you make sure you let me know. I will be there.
Spell the name on the bottom. Is just copy it.
It's
on the check. Put it on the check. Do you have stamps you mail to people? We can just stamp our checks.
Yeah, we
Thank you, Terry.
I didn't mean to get into a political tangent. I just.
God, no. That's
But at any rate, those are just some of the opinions, and that's one of the reasons why. The important issues are, what are we doing for our residents? The residents are overtaxed, they're overburdened, and talk is cheap. Governor Pataki has begun so many good programs in this state to make a difference. We need to build on those programs and take them even further to make a difference.
Yeah.
I think we have a good opportunity, and again, we have some good candidates running for governor. We have Governor Weld from Massachusetts. If you look at his record as governor of Massachusetts, you'll see a tax-cutting governor. You'll see, he reduced the regulation issues and red tape for business. He did a great job in Massachusetts. He turned the state around. You look at John Faso. Everything substantive that went through the Senate minority leadership to create tax relief and new programs came from John Faso. I think we have a great host of candidates in the Republican Party, and I think they're gonna go somewhere.
How many people are running for lieutenant governor at this point?
Right now, officially 2. I was the first announced Republican candidate for lieutenant governor. We announced on February 24th. Yesterday, a former senator from Syracuse announced that she was going to run as well. She was I understand she was a Democratic senator who switched parties 4 years ago. And then when she ran for re-election this past 2 years, she was defeated. But she announced yesterday that she would be running for lieutenant governor at the convention as well. And we're looking forward to a good, solid, challenging race.
In the Red Book, which comes out, and you get to put your own bio in. You get to write it. You can write anything you want. No one else even edits it. She was a go-go dancer. We couldn't believe it. Maybe everybody had been, but she put it in her official Senate biography.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Very strange.
So, anyway,
don't even answer.
I'm not saying anything.
Line 1. It was just about, we used to read it to our friends going, we used to write those things.
So you know her. You know Nancy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Denny in Buffalo. Denny, thanks for holding. Go ahead.
This is it.
I agree with the government